Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day in the great state of Arkansas as well as Texas. I am John Neighbors alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, as I'm down here at Globe Life Stadium, sitting in an auxiliary radio press box, whatever the crap that means. But hey, we're live here down here in Texas. I know Andrew will be here tomorrow, but we got a lot of things to get to today, guys, as we're getting closer to the weekend, not only for Razorback baseball, but Razorback basketball. They're getting prepped up for the Auburn Tigers coming to town in Bud Walton. And of course, we'll talk about the big news coming from Razorback football, which none of us really intended on wanting to discuss, but we're going to have to discuss it either way. But how are the vibes here on this Thursday afternoon?
You know, my vibes are high. The vibes are strong. I'm not going to lie. The closer we get to this weekend, I'm getting a little bit of FOMO. Wish I would be down there in Arlington with you guys, but somebody's got to hold down the fort. You know, we still got a basketball team playing some important games around here. Now, John, I know you're going to be back, so there's that part of it. Really, I'm jealous of John, right? He gets the best of both worlds. He's hanging out in Arlington today. Oh, it's no big deal. I'm just hosting the show from a suite up here, wherever he's at. They probably got a buffet behind him. He's going to be able to check out some baseball games, get back, see Arkansas beat up on Auburn. He's really living the dream. Andrew, you and I, we're doing fine, just not quite as good as him.
Yeah. Well, Curtis, don't be having the FOMO, man. Listen, we're going to have some fun in Arlington, and honestly, I'm going to end up having way more fun than John because I'll get to be here for the full weekend and all that. But he's going to have his fun today. He'll have some fun tomorrow. But you're like the receiver who's like leading the team in receptions, leading the team in yards. He's got 1,800 on the year. But this weekend, it's kind of a game where, hey, the rain's coming down. We're running the ball a little bit. You just got to go out there and block a little bit. But, hey, in the fourth quarter, we're going to need you to catch a pass. And that's the Auburn game because we need you to lock in on your task. You can't get sidetracked and be, oh, man, I wish I was playing halfback today. No, we need you out there at receiver. We're going to need to air this thing out 7 p.m. on Saturday. You still got work to do, buddy.
You got it.
Exactly. It's a team effort, guys, because that's what we do here at Inside Arkansas. We're covering the bases literally all over the place for football, basketball, baseball. We got it all going on right here. So it's going to be a great weekend. I just pray that next year when Arkansas baseball comes down here to Arlington again, that it's like of a weekend of a road game for basketball, like against South Carolina, like something like that. Let's do that. So that way, it's fine, but it's the worst part, guys, is the games are at the same time. That's what makes it even worse. If like the basketball game was at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. and then baseball is at 7. I mean, listen, it's going to be enjoyable. We're going to have it covered, but man, that does really suck. I think this might be the first time that both games have truly been at the same time, because I know Dave Van Horn makes a point to play the Friday night game, Saturday night game, Sunday afternoon game. I don't remember if it's ever come together at the same time, but Razorback fans, if you're at the game in Bud Walton Arena, probably going to have your phones out watching baseball on Flow Sports. And then, hey, folks, if you're down here at the baseball game, you're probably going to have your phones out watching, I guess, was it the ESPN2 or SEC Network or whatever the channel's on. So, hey, Razorback fans are going to be just like us, trying to pay attention to both major events that's happening this weekend.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when both your baseball and basketball programs are prime time. You put them under the lights. That's just what you do. They got to have the spotlight wherever they're at. Whenever we're doing the Pot at the Palace postgame show after this game against Auburn on Saturday, we'll have Andrew on the text line, sending updates for those who haven't figured out how to watch this, in their own way without having to pay Flo a bunch of money. So I'll have the live stats pulled up. We'll have Andrew giving us a little bit of play-by-play, and I'll relay that in between every super chat we get about Darius Acuff going for 35.
Yeah, I like that. Does anybody know if Flo will let you stream on multiple devices? Because if so, Curtis, I might have a hookup for you, because I got my dad all hooked up yesterday. I just signed in with my email and just went ahead and got it for him because I knew he was not going to be able to get in and get it all taken care of. But if so, I'll gladly give you the login and we'll find out in real time. You and my dad might just have to kick each other off the stream a little bit. But I'm definitely down for that.
I want to say the answer is no. I feel like we tried this with the foreign tour thing that they did. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong with basketball, but I think you're screwed. I think they've got it locked down better than Netflix. So
yeah, I'm about to say if there was any sort of technology that was available 10 years ago, Flow Sports probably does not have it. So I'm just gonna go just gonna be honest about it.
Well, nowadays password sharing, dude, people crack down on this. If you try to watch Disney Plus at a different household, they're like, no, you're not doing that. You have one TV you can watch that thing on. Watch it there.
Yeah, but hey, the people are innovative. They find ways. They find ways for sure. So, but we're going to talk all about that, guys. I know, dive into it. But I don't think any of us expected to really start the show with some football news. Of course, we didn't have to. We could start whatever we want because it's our show. We can do whatever we want. But last night, Arkansas lost their defensive line coach, Marion Hobby, going to the Indianapolis Colts. Not ideal to lose a coach, especially close to spring practice and everything. But what was y'all's reaction to hearing the news that Ryan Silverfield is already going to have to replace a significant and a very important position coach here after a month of being here at Arkansas?
My reaction was probably different than a decent amount that I saw on social media, which were people that were mad at Ryan Silverfield for it or whatever. I'm like, well, if you're going to lose a coach at this stage of the game, losing him to the NFL, probably a good thing. That means you made a good hire, right? Like if he's coveted by the Indianapolis Colts, sounds like you had a pretty good defensive line coach there. So I'm disappointed that he's not going to be here for sure. I'm maybe a little bit concerned about who you're going to get at this stage of the game. I know there's some everybody's favorite names that are just hanging around out there without a job for a reason that people are going to talk about. But this is a good test for Ryan Silverfield, man. You face a little bit of adversity with your staff. Less than a month probably before spring football gets rolling here, and they need to figure that out. Defensive line, as we know, was a big problem area for Arkansas last year. They went out in the portal. They did a ton of work to address it. A lot of bodies, a lot of dudes. I don't know if that was one of the positions. I don't recall if they have like a half dozen defensive line coaches, we got one for our 3 down set. We got one for the 4 down. These are our edge guys. These are our jack. I have no idea. Maybe they just promote from within, but that's obviously one that you would prefer to have because, like I said, man, if he's coveted by an NFL group that's going to come pluck him in February, then chances are he would have been a pretty good addition to what you had going on.
Yeah, I had a pretty similar line of thinking of kind of one being like, oh, it's cool that, an NFL team wanted our guy. Cool. But now, like, what are you going to do? My next thought is kind of, Arkansas replaced a lot of guys on that D-line. A lot of the guys that are going to play for Arkansas up front are transfers. And so I'm wondering a lot of those transfers, I'd imagine, had a relationship with him. I wonder how they feel about it because that's kind of the most important thing here. I think, honestly, what you got to do is you got to go pluck someone. You got to go pluck someone from a smaller school, maybe, other Power 4 school or whatever you can do, but you just have to put someone else in a tough position. That's kind of how these things work. We're on the food chain, and the NFL is above Arkansas. There are other teams that are above Arkansas, but the NFL is above Arkansas, but you've got some teams below you. You now have to put them in that tough situation. It's a dog-eat-dog world. That's just what you have to do. But we saw this, I guess the most recent time we've had a position coach leave around this time is Jimmy Smith leaving in the middle of spring. You were able to get Colby Smith in there pretty immediately. It took him like less than a week, I think. Now, it helped that Bobby had that relationship. I don't know if, Ron Roberts has some kind of guy in mind or whatever. I'd assume he's been around some decent D-line coaches. But I look forward to seeing how quickly they can get someone in here. I just hope that group of transfers, this doesn't like drastically shake up their mind where they're like, oh man, I only wanted to come here and only wanted to play hard for this guy. So I'm hoping that whoever they get in can quickly do some damage control. And listen, I think most people understand. I think a lot of those players on the team probably get it. And so they're not going to freak out too much, but that's probably my main priority right now.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it's kind of this what you were talking about, Andrew, where not to say that, the only reason these guys came was because of the defensive line coach, because he just gotten here. But, it does make me wonder, say like Charlie Collins, for instance, like how much of an impact did the new defensive line coach make in his decision to withdraw from the transfer portal and come back? Like, was it any sort of like indication, or was it just they upped the bag? I don't really know. But I guess it's about, who are you replacing him with? Because I remember when they brought on this guy, he has a great resume. He spent 10 years in the NFL. He was at Tennessee as their D-line coach. He was at Ole Miss also is where he got his first start as a major assistant coach in the SEC. So he's been around a long time. It's not the end of the world. It's not like, now all of a sudden I'm lost hope in the Razorback football season. It's just bad timing is all it is. And it just is unfortunate. And, we're going to get to see, did Silverfield – well, that's another question I have for you guys. Do you think it's just something that Silverfield's like, all right, Ron Roberts, go and get your guy, whoever you want? Or is it something like Silverfield's like, I want my fingers on this, and I want to be able to get the guy that I want? I'm just curious of how much, since it is the defensive side of the ball and Silverfield's more of an offensive side of the ball guy, I'm wondering if he just says, hey, Ron, go get whoever you want, or if Silverfield actually wants to be hands-on with it too.
I hope that Silverfield just goes and gets his guy. Hey, you know what, Ron? I'm down to 2 here. Let's have a conversation. Who would be the better fit with you? But I hope he does it. I'm sure he's got plenty of connections, guys he's worked with in the past, whatever. But I kind of want him to. I don't know. It's whenever you hire a new coach, you kind of go the opposite direction of the one you had before. So the CEO thing, like just hand off the reins to all the different. No, man. Like I want him overly involved in everything. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know how great of a coach he is from top to bottom on either side of the ball, but I hope that he's the guy who's like, no, this is my team and you are my defensive coordinator. I'll make this decision. You figure it out, buddy. Had you got more transfers from Florida to come join this defense, and I would let you choose your defensive line coach. But since you didn't get that defensive lineman that we wanted, sorry, man, this is my pick.
Yeah, I do like that. And I mean, as much as we joked about the 14 coaches they hired in the secondary, I think that is kind of where my brain also went, where I'm like, man, I wonder, if you had one of those guys leave, maybe that affects the whole different thing. And, you have all these different coaches whose job responsibility now changes. So I guess you would probably rather lose a D-line coach than one of the secondary coaches since you committed so many resources to that. And so, yeah, I don't know what that decision-making process looks like. It's not like you have unlimited options here at this point in time, but I think there's also a chance for these coaches on this staff now to kind of go ahead and establish that standard and establish how you do things, because whoever it is that comes in, his immediate thing is going to be he has to kind of fit in with what you guys have going on, and you guys have to have your ducks in a row when he comes in. You can't hire some D-line coach and be like, oh, hey, yeah, here's what we're doing. We have no plan. You have to have some type of semblance of order already established. And so that's another big like test for Ryan Silverfield, if you want to call it that, early in his tenure at Arkansas. Kind of an unexpected little blip on the radar that he has to address here. But I think this is a nice opportunity for him to kind of continue, building out his vision. And frankly, I'm glad Arkansas upgraded the players on the D-line. That's going to end up being a big difference. And so whoever they get to coach them, keep them in order, keep them in their alignment and all that, it's all fine and dandy to me, and I look forward to hearing, because we'll hear from Ryan Silverfield here soon, right? In the next couple weeks, we'd assume.
One would think, yeah.
And so, I'll be interested to hear what he has to say about this, because I've kind of taken that approach with a lot of these offseason moves, is like whatever he wants, like he's starting his tenure at Arkansas. So whatever he needs to make that happen in terms of player, in terms of coaches, that's all up to him. But I do like to hear from him so he can explain and let us dummies know what he's thinking.
Well, hey, Coach Ed Orgeron's available, right? Just go get him. I mean, I've already seen that already. He's like, hey, Coach O's not doing anything. It's like, yeah, I mean, sure. Why not? Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's time. I think it's time. You had that opportunity earlier on. You didn't do it. Maybe it's time.
Yeah, bring him home, as he was the assistant strength and conditioning coach back in the 80s at Arkansas at that one point in time. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, we'll keep everybody updated on it. We'll see, because it's also another thing too, is like, did this shock the coaching staff where it come out of nowhere, or is it something that they kind of knew about here for a week or so, and went behind the scenes and had something ready? Time will tell, but we'll see how it all plays out. And like I said, we'll get the chance to hear hopefully from Ryan Silverfield here after a while as well. But we'll get into some other topics, get into your chats and everything too. But I want to remind everybody that OZK Insurance is the official insurance company of us here at Inside Arkansas, because one thing that really sets OZK Insurance apart is simply this: they're an independent insurance agency. That means you're just not tied up to one company. They shop a multitude of A-rated carriers to find the best coverage and price just for you. And now that they've paired it with something you don't usually see from an independent agency, it's a full service mobile app. You guys use those things, right? It's a mobile app. It's a thing on your phone that you get the chance to check out and use, because with that app, you can see all of your policies under one roof. Doesn't matter if it's home, auto, whatever insurance you have. You can also pay your bills, request roadside assistance, file claims, request policy changes, or even get new quotes, all from the easiness of your mobile device. So you get the best part of an independent agent: choice, flexibility, and people, as well as the convenience of modern technology. So if you're tired of being stuck with one carrier or chasing down paperwork, go to ozkinsurance.com or search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play. Local agency, national level options, one powerful app. That is OZK Insurance. And again, folks, I'm down here at Globe Life. I want to mention this real quick. I put up the video, guys, because Arkansas, by the way, Dave Van Horn, all them practices at 3:30 today. So be on the lookout, because we'll have some so the media scrum with Dave Van Horn, some of the players, as well as some highlights there. So be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube to be able to check it out. But the guys, they started playing heat waves here in the stadium, and it got to me. Made me feel like it was baseball season. It's like even though Kevin Kopps has not been with us at least on a baseball field with the Razorbacks for 5 years. His legacy still lives on where they're having a heat waves play down here. But I'm looking down. I see the TCU players. They just wrapped up practice. And so, something about the purple teams just really bother me, but it's going to be a great time, man. I'm excited to see how it all plays out here. And it's an awesome ballpark as well. Weather's going to be great. I know a lot of Razorback fans have been in our chats and everything saying that they're going to be down here, but I'm excited about this event. And I don't know. We'll play a little what's more likely, I guess I should say, later into the show, but we'll have some fun with that on the baseball side. I tell you what, since we're still kind of talking football, and we'll segue to basketball a little bit too. Cal addressed the team, the football team that is. And anytime these videos come out, what's sad is I probably retweet it before I even get to watch it because I know it's going to be awesome. I'll retweet it first and then I'll watch it. But Cal addressed the football team. Maybe this is all part of a plan or anything, but I'm going to play this video. And again, anytime we get to hear from John Calipari, it's always a great thing.
Guys right now are going to be that team that they talk about. If you do this and build the culture, the winning follows the culture. They'll look back and say that team established what we had, so we had a chance to win a championship. This will be the team. I say it all the time, and Coach, I love what you said. You get what you deserve in basketball, football, and in life. I'm leaving this for you guys, what I've given to my team. One of them is, I have no limits. How good can I be? And it talks about it. The other side is what I have them read to themselves every day. My goal is to play in the present, one practice at a time, one game at a time. Stop worrying about the future or the past. I will play to my standards and fall back on my training. I will play lost in my own little world that I own. I will play and practice every day with a great mindset and mood state that allows me to be great. No outside noise will knock me off course. My response will always be the same. Underreact to everything I face. I'm a big-time basketball player who is deserving, worthy, and destined to live out my lofty dreams. I will honor this commitment every day. If you want to be special, are you willing to do stuff that other players aren't willing to do? Every day. How do you go when you don't feel good? I'm busting through. You know why? Because you're convincing yourself nothing will stop me. I felt like crap today, but I went anyway. All that stuff, you build up who you are. Coach is responsible for giving you schemes and all the other stuff. You're responsible for you. You're responsible for you. And all I can say, don't live with regrets. You don't know where this is all going for you personally, but Coach, they want it without asking the question, what's in it for me? I'll tell you what's in it for you. If you go through this and you give every ounce and you do it every day, when you're done, you will thank the coaches. Wherever you end up, you'll say, you made me a better man, and now I have a chance to attack this world I'm walking into.
Guys, I just added another win to the Razorback football team predictions after hearing Cal speak to that. But I know it was kind of long, but how awesome was that?
Yeah, it was great. It was great, man. It was fantastic. He's just a stud, just casual there with his untucked button down, addressing the team. I'm going to go back. I'm going to screenshot that, and I'm going to read it to myself every morning to get myself going, to get myself motivated a little bit. That's good stuff, man. Imagine being a leader of men. He's, you got John Calipari, who is, basically turning this football program around. No disrespect, Ryan Silverfield, but you made the right move by getting the Don to come speak to you over there. Empowering, makes you feel comfortable in your own skin. What a great guy. I mean, in some places they have their head coaches sissy punching whiteboards and stuff. Cal is just calm, cool, and collected the entire time, man. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, I see some people in the chat who are pointing out the music was very loud. I bet the actual room, one, obviously didn't have that music playing. I bet that was a cool little feeling, because you got a big group in there. Everybody's listening to Coach Cal and seeing him command a big room like that. It's a big deal, man. And as a player, everyone that chose to come to Arkansas they have some semblance of belief in Ryan Silverfield. It may be 10%. That may be there's probably some of them that believe 1,000% in Ryan Silverfield, especially those that have been around him a little bit. But it varies. Some players believe more than others. Cal is one of those guys that obviously they don't have personal experience with him, but it's like you don't have to question his resume. You don't have to question whether or not this guy has some type of method to his madness. And so I'm not saying that it means more coming from Cal than it does your own head coach, but I think it definitely helps to have someone who all those guys respect, all those guys have seen on TV, all those guys know what he's accomplished, and hearing a message that's probably not terribly dissimilar from what they hear from Ryan Silverfield and these other coaches. I think that helps, and especially in this off-season time period, because it's not like he's getting them hyped up to go play Mississippi State. He's getting them hyped up to work out, to do the dirty work, to do the hard stuff, and I love all that about how you're responsible for you.
Well, I think we've talked about it where if I was Silverfield or any coach on campus, I would have and try to make John Calipari be a part of everything that I do. Like if there's a way that he can address my current team, if I have recruits on visits, just go and meet him. And this is not even a slight against Ryan Silverfield or any coach, because I'd say the same thing even for Dave Van Horn. As I'm trying to put myself in a position of a player that is, say, football in this case. Yeah, I'm excited about being a Razorback, excited about playing football, excited about being the SEC, excited about being in Arkansas. But it's like when you see John Calipari walk in and talk to you, like that's just one of those cool, because everybody knows this man. He's a celebrity that happens to be a basketball coach. And I just think that's such a, again, as weird as it is, it's like if I was slumped a little bit with Silverfield, it's when Cal walks in, I kind of like straighten up a little bit, like, oh man, dude, John Calipari's about to talk to me. So I just love the fact that, one, he's willing to do this, which seems like, I don't know how the conversations are with the coaches, but, is it simply Silverfield texting us, say, hey, coach, man, do you got any time? Just want to come talk to the team? I can fit you in next Thursday for about 20 minutes. Is it something like that? Is it something that Cal reaches out, was like, hey, man, if you ever need anything? I always wonder how that goes, but and maybe we'll talk to Silverfield whenever we get a chance to ask him how that went. But I just, again, love the stuff, love the fact that Cal, the more he can get involved in, the more he can speak to players, whoever, is nothing but better. It's never going to be a negative. It's only going to be a major positive for whatever program it is.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that Cal showed up unannounced and just took the stage.
Yes.
It's like, I'm going to talk to these guys for a minute,
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Should he have subbed out basketball for football? Should he have just gone ahead and said football player?
Probably, yeah.
But we know he wasn't going to. Come on now. It's almost like a thing of a reminder, even though we all know he loves to remind people in subtle ways. Like, we talked about with the, $6 billion. I've coached a few players. I don't know if you guys knew this. They were pretty good. But it's almost like it's like basketball, because he points to himself. He holds his own. He's like, basketball. See, I'm basketball coach. I'm the elite level basketball. So even though it sounds silly, but I could just see him kind of doing that thing. Because parts of me, when I was listening to that, I was like, man, I feel like I'm in a press conference again, because he's doing the surveying the audience a little bit of like, so what do you do? And then he keeps on going with it. But love that type of content, man, all day long.
I think my favorite part, like on a very serious level, my favorite part was the notion that this year's football team could be the standard setter for years to come. And that, whatever, let's say in 2034, Arkansas goes to a college football playoff. I think he's right in that if that is going to happen and Ryan Silverfield's going to be the head coach, we probably would look back to this time period and say, this is where they kind of started that thing. If Arkansas basketball wins it all, now it's year 2 in Cal, so it's a little bit different there, but it's like, we would kind of think about all that. We would think about that Eric Musselman era. We would think about those guys who kind of pushed those lines forward. And of course, with baseball, there'd be, dozens of teams we could point back to and say, they helped kind of push you closer and closer to that. I think that's very powerful. And I know for some of these players, especially the seniors, they're probably thinking, well, I kind of want to win something now. And I know it's probably a weird motivation, but I think that's a pretty powerful thing. And for this team, as they're trying to build whatever they're trying to build, I think that's the right message. Is like, hey, this is not just about you, and it's not just about this team. This is about this program for the next 5, 10, 20 years.
I want to ask you guys this too. And I mean it honestly, not just someone who works at the U of A, but is John Calipari the most powerful influence that's connected to Razorback sports right now? Like, is he just not somebody that's just a current coach? I'm talking about former players, former coaches, whoever. Is he the most powerful influence that the Razorback athletic department has?
Of course he is. Who else would be in the conversation?
The only one I would say, and I don't even think it'd be like necessarily the influence, but I'm like John Daly's such a vibe, but it's not to the same level.
People don't necessarily associate. Like we obviously do because he's our guy and he's from Arkansas. I think there's people in Idaho who know John Daly and don't know he went to Arkansas. You know what I mean? And hey, maybe there's some people who know Cal and don't realize he's at Arkansas or whatever. But yeah, because think about all the former pro athletes like Bobby Portis, a great ambassador of the University of Arkansas. That's our guy. He's definitely brought some respect and love, but like I don't think it's on the same level as Coach Cal and what he's done, especially for the minds of the young kids.
What about Jerry Jones?
He's a close one. He's probably up in the top 3 to 5 of this conversation, honestly. But Jerry Jones doesn't really rep Arkansas right now.
Well, I mean, I think he's busy doing some stuff usually. But no, I see what you're saying though. Like, because I was trying to think of who could walk into that room like Cal did and have just as good or just as great of an impact on that team as far as listening and all that. And I'm like, if Jerry Jones walked in there, that'd be pretty crazy. Like, I'm sure that those players would be like, holy crap, it's Jerry Jones. So, maybe that's something like that. But the point is like you have someone like that who lives in Fayetteville on campus, utilize him. I don't care if you're Jordan Weber and you got a bunch of girls in gymnastics. Hey, coach, come talk to the gymnastics team. Tell them how they work on their somersaults. And, and Cal can go in there and motivate them. Yeah. Like just like whatever they're called. I wish that's the only term I could think of when it comes to gymnastics. But no, I love that. What the yellow shirt though? Was that shirt yellow or was it my computer screen just off?
No, it looked good. He had a little Easter vibe going on.
Little Dwight Schrute looking shirt.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because I was like, man, I don't think he could wear that with any of his suits he wears to basketball games. I don't know if that would work out or anything.
Now, hey, real question though: if Cal does win a national title at Arkansas, he then becomes like the most influential person in like maybe the history of the athletic department.
Yeah,
because that would be. Because think about the waves he's made now, and now you're already seeing the best players in the country want to play at Arkansas. If he wins a title at Arkansas would then you'd start seeing the celebrities at Bud Walton Arena like immediately.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think of somebody that like maybe I could throw back and argue it, but it's hard to argue that because I think part of it is just always going to be weird because no matter what, because what we say, he has like 5 years here at Arkansas, maybe like want him to coach as long as he wants, but maybe 5 years, maybe longer. But it's like, if he wins a title, that'll be a huge deal. But it's still people will associate him with Kentucky more. But what if he won 2 titles? Where they'd be like, oh man, that's an Arkansas guy. But I also don't see Cal once he retires just living in Fayetteville the rest of his life either. So I don't know.
Well, who's to say Arkansas won't just be the new Kentucky?
It's true.
They are the new Kentucky as we speak right now. But like if he leaves if he left the job right now, Arkansas would stop being the new Kentucky, I would say. But like if he wins a title and then hangs on for 4 or 5 years, I don't think they're going to hire Chris Jans after him. You know what I mean? I think they would be hiring like Billy Donovan after him or something like that. But I will say, dude, Cal said something very interesting recently that made me almost think like, not that he's going to be at Arkansas forever, but that the end is nowhere near for him. He basically was like, I don't want to leave college athletics in the state that it's in. Like, I don't want to just leave because things suck right now. So if his timeline is when college athletics gets fixed, that's when I'll leave. You know what I mean? Like, that's not any time soon. We agree on that.
Yeah. He's in it for the long haul for sure. He's got to make the college basketball world a better place for his son,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who is the next head coach? So we don't even have to have the Chris Jans conversation.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing to do these days, I guess, is to have your son be there and be a part of it. But we'll talk a little bit of basketball because, hey, there was some SEC basketball last night that we definitely want to get into. But before we do that, we want to remind everybody that if you need to take out some frustrations, take out some issues, take out all the things in life that really bother you, well, go ahead and go to Fight House Gym there in Northwest Arkansas. It's the newest boxing, MMA, and strength training gym that's built just for athletes, for competitors, for anyone that's willing to push their limits. It's got high energy boxing and MMA training, free weights, elite cardio equipment, sleds, cross training, you name it, they got it. And the Fight House Gym delivers everything that you need to train at the highest level. They've already been open, but they're going to have their massive grand opening next Saturday at noon. So if you're in the area, be sure to check it out there, as it's going to be a huge deal. But you can push your body to the edge, recover like a pro, because they have those cold plunges as well as saunas designed to keep you strong and ready for more. So whether you're a seasoned fighter are just starting your fitness journey, this is the gym that meets you where you are and pushes you even further. This isn't just a gym. It's a mindset. Fight House Gym is now open at 10131 Webbway in Fayetteville. That's exit 58 off I-49. Sign up today at fighthousegym.com, or you can call and set up an appointment to get all squared away with them at 951-623-9745 and step inside and bring the fight with Fight House Gym of Northwest Arkansas. So a few SEC games last night. I know we'll get into a few of them, but hey, guys, how about those Missouri Tigers? I hate to even say that, but big win down there, beating Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M went 8 minutes without a field goal when I was watching it. And now you got quite a few teams, which Missouri's now, don't look now, there wasn't like tied for third. There's a bunch of teams tied for third, but they elevated themselves, knocked down A&M a little bit. So the SEC's got some bad teams, but man, there's a lot of teams right there to the top or close to the top that the next few weeks could make it really fascinating to see how it's all going to play out.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of bad. We're not sure just how much elite there is. There's a decent amount of good and a whole bunch of mid in the SEC, man. There's no doubt about it. I sent out the bat signal for our resident Aggies fan, Luke. I haven't seen him. I'm a little bit worried about him after what happened to those boys. Yeah, what did they it was something ridiculous, right? Like 1 of 27 or something to start the game against Florida over the weekend. And like you mentioned, John, they hit a ridiculous amount of threes in the first half. And then the second half, yeah, I think it was like 8 minutes without a basket. And they wind up losing that game to a Missouri team that's all right. Like Missouri's not bad, but I mean, they're living life on the bubble for a reason there. That's not a good loss for Texas A&M. So for anyone who still had those allegations out there about them and the schedule they had faced so far, they're proving a lot of people right with this losing streak that they've gone on. It seems like, with I guess Missouri kind of being the exception, anybody who got Bediaco'd by Alabama, it just seems to have crumbled their season entirely so far.
Although Bama looked pretty good, so maybe Bediaco was holding Bama back. Maybe
it's entirely possible. Yeah, I am. By the way, I'm very happy to hear that after everything that's gone on here. And I know it's been such a tough and trying situation. There's a silver lining to everything. And we now know that Charles Bediaco and Chris Beard are pen pals. So I'm very happy to hear that that's the case. Got something out of the deal.
What are we doing here, man? Like, I guess it's like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, dude, that shows me that Beard's about to get canned and he needs an assistant coach job. Like that I was like, just like, I don't even know if that would fit, but it's just strange. That's one of those things where it's not bad. It's not like I'm like, Chris Beard should have never done that, but I'm like, that's weird. I don't know. I saw that and I was like, that's just a weird thing.
Yeah, it is. Nobody epitomizes SEC's mediocrity more than Ole Miss and Chris Beard, if I'm being honest with you. Like, they are perfectly pure mid, like truly.
Yes.
And there's no like, next step for them. There's no like, oh, if you catch them on the right, like Ole Miss is just pure mid. I want to use this moment. We didn't do our SEC basketball show this week, obviously. I want to apologize to Missouri because early in SEC play, I was like, because they were like projected in the NCAA tournament at one point early in SEC play, and I was like, that's stupid. Like, there's no way Missouri's making the NCAA tournament. Like, I feel very confident in predicting that. And then throughout this conference season, I haven't given them any love, haven't taken them seriously. Even the other day on the show, I was like, dude, I saw them in Joe Lenardi's like first 4 out, and I was like, that's crazy. Like, there is 0% chance they make the NCAA tournament. They are probably going to be projected. I haven't checked the fields today. I'd imagine going into the weekend, they will be projected to be in the NCAA tournament. Is that crazy?
Yeah, they're probably on the right side of the bubble now, and they host Texas on Saturday, and that's the most bubbly of bubblicious games you could possibly get in the SEC. So that'll be an interesting one to watch.
That's Hubba Bubba. Y'all know about that?
That's exactly what that is.
Bubble gum, that's Hubba Bubba right there. But yeah, I think that you're starting to see the pack, like the good teams in the SEC, start to really establish themselves. But dude, the margin for error is still pretty. Like there's not a ton of separation. Even that Mississippi State team that Arkansas just beat the crap out of, they played Tennessee on their home floor, and like it was very competitive. They wound up losing by 9. It was like a 2-point game with like 10 minutes left. Like it was a very close competitive game, and it's not because Mississippi State has turned things around. It's just it's hard to beat these teams by a large margin unless you're playing Georgia this time of year.
Hey, real quick before we move on from Texas A&M, I do want to give this a shot because I think it's a good idea. Hickory Hog says, get Andrew to do an Aggie yell to see if we can call in Luke.
We just pass it back, Ags, around here, man. Come on, Luke. Pass it back, Ags. Come on, Luke.
All right, we'll see if that does the trick.
You want me to hit one of these little things?
Well, Well, no, it's like, what does they do with the arm? They do this stuff and all that. Yeah, it's
They
just
do
like,
a little bit of that. Yeah.
it's all very dumb. It's all very dumb. But no, it was funny because I was looking at it too, to where like Missouri, maybe this makes sense in how I'm putting it. Missouri's not a great basketball team or even a good basketball team. That's not a slight, but they're good enough to just beat you. It's like one of those teams where they're not, I don't look at them as like a threat in the SEC or anything, but if you don't play your A game, they are good enough to beat you. And that's kind of what they've been doing right now. And when I was looking at the standings, guys, and seeing, Florida's still at the top at 9-2, Kentucky, Arkansas at 8-3, which we know Kentucky holds a tiebreaker. It's stupid, but it's true. You got 5 teams at 7-4. But here's what's crazy for Arkansas and the rest of their schedule, guys. They do not face an SEC team the rest of the way that does not have a winning record in the SEC right now. They've already played all of the bottom teams. They've played South Carolina. They played Oklahoma. LSU, they played twice. Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Auburn is the only one. I guess I should have clarified with that. Auburn this weekend is the only one with a losing record. But the rest of them all have winning records in the SEC. Now, that could easily change. But the point is, your schedule, you got some winnable games. You got some games that you should definitely win. You're better than most of the teams you're going to face. But that just shows you, as you said, the margin of error where, hey, Arkansas, like one game can make, and winning and losing the rest of the way can make the difference between you finishing 3rd or you finishing 7th. Like one game can make the difference. So lock in and win the games you're supposed to, and then steal some of the ones you're not. And because I do not want to sit here after a stupid game against, like, pick a team. Like if it's Texas or something, I think it's the second game of the year, second to last game of the year. Like you lose to Texas, suddenly you're like, crap. Now we let's hope this team loses and this team wins, and then Arkansas beats Missouri on the road. Like, no, just take care of the business of the game, the teams you're supposed to. And you do that, you're a top 4 seed. You're a top 4 seed in this SEC, and you get to play on Friday instead. Just do that and don't worry about anything else. That's all I ask.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're a Razorback fan that's got your sights set on, maybe winning an SEC regular season title, which is fair. I mean, you're 11 games in and you're a game out. Weirdly enough, you probably want Kentucky to beat Florida this weekend because you still get to go play at Florida. So you give yourself an opportunity there. And Kentucky, I would say of the 3, probably, we just talked about Arkansas schedule. Kentucky looks tougher to me. So they stand the better chance of taking on more losses there. Florida's got a little bit of a cakewalk. Their 2 hardest games left are against Arkansas and Auburn. Both those games, they get them at home. And then it's a situation where I think they still get South Carolina again. Maybe they play Mississippi State. Like they've got a couple easy ones next week where they're going to be able to really build a cushion if they win on Saturday. So I guess I wouldn't say I'm a Kentucky fan on Saturday, but I kind of hope that they go over there and sneak Florida, and that would make things really, really interesting if Arkansas takes care of business, obviously, on Saturday against Auburn. And I'm with you, John. I don't want to get down in that group of like 9 teams that are all with the same record right there, because you're right. It could come down to the end of the season, and we'll have some separation by the time we get to separation.
I'm about to say I don't have my thing. I can't hit it. So yeah,
we'll have some of that by the time we flip the calendar to March, obviously. But you're right, man. It does come to that point where you're at the last week of the season with 2 games. It's like, oh wow, if this plays out a certain way, Arkansas could finish 2nd. Or they could finish 9th. No. I don't want any of that. Just win the games you're supposed to win.
Yeah. John, my reaction while you were reading off, because that was a very interesting stat of, after Arkansas plays Auburn, like they don't have any under 500 teams left or whatever. And so you kind of look at that and you say, oh, Arkansas's got a daunting stretch coming up. Well, if you really look closely at it, it's not that daunting, especially because like A&M at home, Missouri at home, not the hardest games in the world. Going to Como is sneaky kind of hard, but you have Texas at home as well. And so like, there's some clear opportunities for wins there. I think this is the perfect time. One, I think there's a lot of over 500 teams who are about to get their ass whipped, honestly. I think it also lines up, and this is my favorite thing that you can do in sports is where you can accomplish a task that's not that hard, but you get to feel like it's hard, And so, you beat A&M at home. Hey, we just beat a team that's 7-3 or whatever, Oh, hey, we beat Missouri. They're hot right now. It's like you're not really beating anybody that good, but you kind of feel that way. I think, and of course, like going to Florida, that actually is a very hard task. Going to Alabama, that actually is a very hard task. And so we'll see how Arkansas does in those matchups. But I think it sets up pretty well for Arkansas to build a lot of confidence here down the stretch. And I don't think Arkansas is going to I don't think they're going to get blown out in any of these games, including the game in Gainesville. I think Arkansas is going to be close in a lot of these. And this is time for us to find out what this team's really made of, what they're all about. And you kind of win 5 or 6 of these games down the stretch, all of a sudden you're going to be going into March with a lot of confidence and kind of knowing in your heart you can play with anybody. You've played great non-conference teams. You played great conference teams. You played at Bud Walton. You've gone on the road. You played neutral. There is nothing going into March or going into, I should say, the NCAA tournament that this Razorback team will have not faced and come out of the other side of.
And what's crazy, too, is I know this is asking a lot, but I don't want Arkansas. You can only lose one more game. That's it. Just one more game in the regular season. That's all I'm going to allow. Because I picked 14-4 in the SEC, and people are like, you're stupid. But I was like, I want to do that. But also, too, but my point to that is I'm not saying that Arkansas, like, if they lose more than one game down this stretch, failure, disappointment, whatever. But it's like, man, you should win all your home games, period. You should not lose any more home games the rest of the year. Facts. Like, you got your road games against Bama, Florida, and Missouri left. Okay. You should win at least two of those. I feel like capable of it. You know, I mean, the Alabama, Georgia, or the Alabama, Florida ones are the toughest ones, no doubt. But it'd be cool to split those. It'd be really cool. And if you did that, you're talking about just one loss the rest of the way. It's not out of the realm of possibility and not ridiculous a notion that Arkansas just loses one more game the rest of the SEC season. Not saying it happens, but it wouldn't be the shock of the world where everyone's like, whoa, where did this come from? How'd they pull this off? You have some really, as you said, Andrew, good opportunities to take care of business.
For sure, man. Yeah, it's not crazy to think that if Arkansas handles business on Saturday, a lot of that will depend on, I think, who's available and who's not and what that looks like. I'll start feeling better about the consistency aspect of all this because I know a lot of people are still hesitant with this Razorback team because, like, all right, you went on the road, you were really impressive in a couple games against teams that aren't that great, but you've stunk all year from a consistency standpoint and on the road. Like, have they turned the corner? They just beaten up on bad teams. If you make it 3 in a row against a good team that kind of already beat up on you, their backs are against the wall, blah, 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 coming to play you. That's 3 straight. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're just getting serious now about crunch time here. But I'm kind of with you, man, from a standpoint of you've gotten to this stage, you know, like you're about 2/3 of the way through and you're sitting at 8-3 in the SEC. So I'm thinking about the potential, you know, final records here in the league. And it's like, you know, if you win 11-7, that's a 3-game improvement from last year. I'm going to be disappointed in that. That means you're 3-4 in your last 7. I don't want to see that. I'd have a hard time being upset about 12-6, honestly. I know it's only 4-3 the rest of the way, but if you go 12-6 in the SEC, it's like that's a solid season right there. 13-5, wow, that's really good. But yeah, if you start getting up there in that 14-4 range, that's when you can really start looking at Arkansas, I think, and saying, what can't they do once we get into March Madness? There are a couple matchups that they could get in the tournament where, frankly, I just think they'd be screwed entirely. But that list of teams would be a lot less if Arkansas was to go, like you said, 6-1 or so down the stretch here. You start feeling pretty good about things.
Curtis, do you remember, did you have Arkansas 12-6 or 13-5 before SEC play?
13-5.
Okay. So yeah. I guess, 12-6. I was kind of thinking of it of like, man, 12-6. And I think even when you made that prediction, you probably would have said, hey, if they go 12-6, I'm not going to like be mad about it. You know,
yeah.
13-5 is kind of the, like you said, the perfect barometer of 12-6. Okay. Nobody should be mad or like jumping for joy.
You want to know what my swing game was, Andrew? This is game on Saturday. Because before the season, I went 12-6 and I had Arkansas getting swept by Auburn. And then Stephen Pearl took over for Bruce. And so before we started SEC play, I redid it. And I was like, all right, I'll take the split. Arkansas wins the game at home. That's my swing game. So we'll see.
Okay. I like that. And, you know, I think that's fair. Because, I mean, a lot of these games are decided by, you know, a few points. I don't think it's going to be a huge spread here. I like that. I think if Arkansas goes over 12-6, literally nobody should complain at all. If they go 12-6, I don't think you really should complain either. But, like, I think that's kind of the expected one here. But, yeah, you start getting up in that 14-4 range, all of a sudden you're a borderline juggernaut.
It's just so nice to be like, I'm going to be pissed if this team doesn't win double the SEC games they lost. Isn't it nice just to be like that? Like, I'm going to be – that's terrible if they go 12-6. Not to say it's terrible, but I'm with you. Like, just given the circumstances, if you want to have me believe that you are a team that is good enough to make a Final Four and a national championship, you need to go 14-4. Like, that's how I feel. Like, 12-6 will still be fine. You'll still get in the tournament. Still can do some things. But, man, being 14-4, that's good enough to get you – I mean, I guess it depends on Florida, but I think at worst you'd be the 2 seed. You'd have to be, like, the 2 seed in the SEC tournament. And then You get there, maybe you're a 3 or 4 seed. But the point is, if you want to be a serious team, if you want to be playing your best basketball at the right time and get everybody hyped up, man, it'd be crazy. And also, too, it makes me wonder if they get to that point where, say, they go 14-4. Suddenly, it's like the SEC tournament comes around. I'm like, so do I want to win this? How far do I want this to go?
All right, Cal.
Yeah, I know. That's just, again, we're talking about circumstances and things that have to happen. But it would be one of those deals to where, I would 100% overthink and be like, oh, man, they got to do this instead of this, because that would be a problem. But it's more just like, hey, just keep winning and keep playing good basketball. I think that's the main thing that matters the most. So
I think the thing with the SEC tournament, in whatever sport it is, the case against it is that, it would take a lot out of you to have to win it, which in baseball really does make sense, because like, hey, you're going to have to use, 8 or 9 pitchers and like really, tax your staff. 3 games in 3 days, especially if one of them ends up being a blowout, doesn't really take that much out of you, especially because you get a full week off before. And so if you end up being with that top 4 seed, it's like, I think it's easy to say, yeah, let's go ahead and win this thing, because it's not like it's going to take some Herculean effort for Arkansas to win 3 games in 3 days, 2 of which they'll be favored in, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I would probably take the approach of, if you lose the first game of the SEC tournament, okay, fine, whatever. But if you win the first one, you better win it all. That's gonna be my approach. Don't go to the title game and lose. Do not do that. That's the worst type of thing.
Yeah, don't do that. And then, the further along you get, like the championship game for me, all bets are off. But like when you're on the road, it's almost like at the SEC baseball tournament, you might pitch count your guys. Like you're still gonna throw, your arms out there, but you're not gonna overextend them a little bit. So maybe we don't play A-Cuff 40 minutes in 3 straight games. You know what I mean? Let's just give DJ a little extra run out there. It's fine. Oh, Trevin's playing 38 minutes a game. Let's give Sealy a rotation or 2. It's okay. We're still playing to win, but we got the big picture in mind kind of deal. That's what I'd be all for. But if they get to Sunday, you got to go all out. You got to go out and try to win that thing.
Yep, because at worst case scenario, you go all out and then you play Thursday, at worst case. So, maybe they're nice to you and they throw you a bone and say Friday because you're in the title game. But yeah, that's plenty of time to recover. You can get a couple cold plunges in at Fight House. You're good to go if that ends up happening. So we'll get to your chats in a bit, but let's do a few questions from the What's More Likely to Happen. It's presented by our friends over at BetSaracen. It's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas for a reason. And I can't stand the fact that I can't bet here in the state of Texas because I miss the BetSaracen app. But either way, they have so many great features and great promos and specials when it comes on to Razorback basketball against Auburn this weekend. Arkansas is favored by 7.5 points, which is pretty wild. But they have all of those parlays that you can be a part of. They have Razorback baseball specials too. You can go ahead and bet on who you think the College World Series is going to be as far as the winner goes. And the best thing about it is that if you scan that QR code on your screen or you click the link in our description below, it'll take you to download the BetSaracen app. And when you do so, be sure to use that promo code InsideAR250. That's InsideAR250, because when you use that code, folks, you can bet $25, get $250 free. That's right. Bet $25, get $250 free with the BetSaracen app. It's Arkansas's #1 sports wagering app. I'm here at Globe Off, and I got confused, guys. I just saw like Arkansas walking in as a team down in the dugout. I was like, oh gosh, they're early. Oklahoma. They just look alike from over here. So I got excited, but either way.
You were looking at them. You were like, oh yeah, that seems like it might be us, but not as good. Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah. Oh, John, I'm genuinely asking this. Who are the other SEC teams here? Because when you just said Oklahoma, I was like, oh, I guess Oklahoma's in Globe Life. Is it Vanderbilt?
It's Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and then you have, of course, Oklahoma State, TCU, and Texas Tech. So yeah. I was too. I didn't realize that it was Oklahoma. Fun fact, until I did a segment on our Locked On SEC show or whatever, and they said, yeah, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and Oklahoma. I was like, oh yeah, Oklahoma's here, I guess. So yeah.
By the way, real quick, not to get off on a tangent here.
No, you're good.
A lot of former players at their former schools, because Jackson Kirschner's an Oklahoma boy. You've got on Vanderbilt, you've got Ethan McElvain and Cam Kojal, TJ Pompey, Texas Tech. Arkansas has a kid over at TCU, Lance Davis. There's a lot of familiarity over here in these streets.
Yeah, it's college sports and what it's turned into. But Texas Tech is now warming up, and I've seen this Texas Tech shortstop dick about like 3 routine balls at shortstop. So, like, and here's the thing: these guys all are so incredible baseball players. I've seen some bad baseball in some of these warm-ups that I've just been watching. Like, I don't know if it's just they're not locking in and it's early in the year, but man, I've seen some just routine stuff. So hopefully that bodes well for Arkansas.
Working out the kinks,
Yeah. Maybe the bright lights of Globe Life has just gotten to them. Because somebody told me too, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody told me that TCU, they practiced in Globe Life today, but all the other days they're going to go back home to practice at their place there, which I'm like, if that's true, it's like, okay, I get it, but I feel like you want to practice as much as you can on the field.
Well, you know why they don't care? They've been practicing in Globe Life for weeks. Dave said that he was talking to some of the people that are working the event, and he was like, it was like 2 weeks ago when Arkansas was practicing in the indoor because of the snow. He said TCU was practicing in Globe Life. And he's like, what the hell? How is that fair?
Okay.
Well, now that makes sense. Now they make that connection there. So, all right, guys, a few things real quick before just as far as what's more likely to happen. I'll deal with Arkansas football or basketball and baseball. But what's more likely to happen? The Hogs beat Auburn this weekend by 20, or Auburn wins by 1 possession?
Gosh, this is actually a really good one.
Thanks, man.
I almost immediately said Auburn wins by 1 possession, but where are they at right now with their mindset? Because we're playing the assumption game, right? Because the last time we saw Auburn, it was, boy, they just took that back-to-back losses and they're going to be, super motivated, the more desperate team or whatever. We're just assuming that they've lost 3 in a row here, and so they're going to come with that same energy. It's probably also just as likely, seeing how Stephen Pearl's benching their, SEC Player of the Year candidate in the loss to Vanderbilt at home, that this thing starts to crater a little bit on them. And they're going to be walking to a buzzsaw. Maybe Arkansas is actually super motivated. You want to talk about a team that has every reason to be motivated? How about Arkansas, who got their butts kicked up between their shoulder blades last time they played Auburn, and lost at home their last time they were at Bud Walton Arena, which felt like a month ago at this point. So I'm actually going to go Hogs by 20.
Interesting. I mean, listen, anytime Arkansas plays a game in Bud Walton Arena, whether they're playing the Harlem Globetrotters, the Los Angeles Lakers, or anything in between, there's a clear path to them winning by 20 points. Like, it just exists. I'm going to lean towards Auburn winning, not because I really think they're going to, or just because I think it's hard to beat these teams by 20. I know Arkansas's done it here in the last couple of games recently, but I think there's a chance that Auburn loses, you mentioned that their mental stability may be a little bit in question. I could see that coming into play if it becomes a close game down the stretch, which I know is weird because I'm saying them winning by 1 possession is more likely. I just don't think Auburn beats Arkansas by double digits in any form or fashion. Like, I think if Auburn's winning, it's going to be by 1 to 8 points or something like that. So it's like, if I think Auburn has a 30% chance of winning, I think there's a 20% chance they win by 1 possession.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 20 because I really want to overreact after Arkansas gets like 3 straight wins of 20 points in SEC play. And to me, just being like, oh, this team's back. They're ready to go. Like, let's just get this tournament going right now. That's the way I'm going to feel. So,
yeah.
But it'd be nice just to return the favor of what they did to you in Auburn a few weeks ago.
No, it certainly would be. And so what does Arkansas have? 4 SEC wins of 20 points or more. And the Vanderbilt team that just went and won at Auburn is one of them who walked into Bud Walton Arena and caught a case. So it wouldn't be unprecedented for it to happen.
Yeah. We got 2 basketball, 2 baseball. We'll stick with another basketball one since we're talking about it. It's what's more likely, Keyshawn Hall goes for 30-plus points or Darius Acuff gets held to under 15?
Ooh,
Keyshawn Hall goes for 30-plus.
Yeah. Especially because he's coming off a bad performance.
Yeah, bro, I've already got that built into my algorithm thinking about this game. Like, my baseline for Keyshawn Hall is set at 30.
If I said Darius Acuff under 10, would that change your mind?
No.
If you change it to under 20, it might change my mind. Because then I would say, oh, he could get held under 20. I would be stunned if Darius Acuff, actually genuinely stunned if Darius Acuff finished with fewer than 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be stunned even in the least bit if Keyshawn Hall scored 30.
I know, dude.
Yeah, that's and I just expect that of both of those guys. All right, so for the baseball side of things, what's more likely? Hogs go 4-0 in Arlington this weekend, or they go 1-3?
4-0. I don't think they're going to go 4-0, by the way. In fact, I have a predictions episode coming out at 3 p.m. today. we'll check that out. I have them going 3-1. Arkansas doesn't play great in Arlington. Like I literally cannot. Like 2021, they went 3-0, and in that year you kind of like, oh yeah, they played really well then, and they I think got ranked number 1 after. Even that series, they had a couple like 2-1 and 3-1 type of wins. Last year and the year before, I felt like they were lucky to come out of this thing 2-1. We really don't see Arkansas swing the bats well at Arlington for whatever reason. Big park, maybe the batter's eye, maybe it's just the angle. I don't know. So I don't think Arkansas is just going to like waltz their way through it. But I do think that is more in play than them losing 3 games.
Especially if, like, let's be honest, like the Tarleton State, I couldn't go 0-4. You know, like they're going to be Tarleton State.
Well, dude, and what's crazy is that you're going to pitch a lot of freshmen against Tarleton, which you would think like, oh, pitching freshmen's probably – Arkansas's freshmen are built different. Like you're going to have Mark Brissy throwing 97. You're going to have Peyton Lee throwing a 3,000 RPM slider. Like Tarleton ain't going to know what hit them on Monday. It's also might end up being a noon game, by the way.
Yeah. Do they have run rules, right? Because if it's like 7-inning game,
so.
could we do that? Yeah. I'd be all for it. So, but yeah, I mean, I think Arkansas basically they win the series every time they come down here. They go 2-1. It seems like every single time, and they always lose the Saturday game. I feel like if they're going to lose one, it's always game 2. They win first.
Last year when Kansas State got them,
was that game 1?
Yeah, Kansas State just straight up beat them, and they were the worst team there.
Yeah, baseball, man. It's crazy. So in the final one for baseball, this is just some stupid one. I'm sure it has an easy answer. But either way, what's more likely, the Hogs throw a no-hitter this weekend or a player hits for the cycle?
I'm going to go for this. Yeah, I'm going to go cycle for a few reasons. One, big-ass park that, like, has a lot of weird things. So, like, triples are, like, kind of in play at this park. And nobody's going to throw 9 innings, you know? Like, nobody's going to throw a full workload. Now, you could have a 7-inning shortened game no-hitter. But even if you had pitchers on their full workloads, I would still probably go with the cycle more likely.
Yeah, I probably would too. I mean, both would be pretty cool, you know, if it happened. But, you know, Hagen Smith had 17 strikeouts one time, and then, you know, it's hard to get to that point. But I just want to see good baseball, and hopefully Arkansas. I'm sure no one will overreact to what happens this weekend in baseball. Yeah, not at all. You know, one player goes – 1 of 7 on the weekend. Be like, we got to have a discussion about him. He sucks. Get him out of there. Like it's all going to happen. It's going to be so much fun. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get to your chats, folks. But before we do, I want to remind you that we are presented by our friends at Hickey and Hull Law, the #1 law firm in the state of Arkansas. It's not even close because they are always going to take care of you with all of your legal needs. It doesn't matter if it's divorce and custody cases, criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury, estate planning, you name it. They do it. They take care of you, and they're going to walk you through it each and every step of the way. They stay in communication. Doesn't matter if it's through text message or phone calls or emails, in person. They are going to make sure that they stay in communication and make sure you have that representation that you deserve to make sure that you get everything you can in these cases and make it work for you. They advocate for you in a diligent and consistent manner. So if you're ever needing any legal advice, legal help, and your legal troubles, give them a call today, 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhull.com. Scan that QR code on their screen right there as well. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. All right, so getting to some of your chats, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in today. No have any super chats at this point, but Paddlefish, who's been a member for 3 months, appreciate you, says, Curtis, have you noticed that we are 6-0 and plus 154 MOV after a loss with an average MOV of 25 points? Not sure I've heard you mention that stat.
No, I mean, I guess I wasn't aware of that. They take care of
MOV?
business at
I'm trying to think.
margin of victory. Yeah. After they lose, they win.
Yeah. I think what helps is you probably had a couple non-conference, like you lose to Houston, and then I don't know who they played after, but I'd imagine they beat the crap out of them. Yeah. So you probably had, like, whoever they played after Duke, right, probably beat them pretty good.
Trying to think for SEC. So they lost to Auburn. South Carolina was after that, I think.
That was a fact.
Yes.
Then they lost to Georgia, and it was Vandy.
Mm-hmm.
So that tracks.
And then a 20-point loss or win at Mississippi State.
After because of the bye after Kentucky. So yeah, that tracks, man. I knew they hadn't lost 2 in a row. So
hell, now I'm really thinking about it. Their conference margin of victory is maybe even better than a non-con.
Well, I just saw from Hog Stats that this is like the second largest margin of victory or margin that Arkansas has had since 1993, 94, I think is what it was. I hope I got that stat right, but yeah.
That's a pretty good year. Not a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know, because I was even looking at it like I know for like non-conference, like when you lost to Houston, you beat James Madison by 30. Lost to Michigan State, you beat Central Arkansas by 40. The only one that wasn't a wide margin of victory, but because of the team, is when you lost to Duke, you beat Louisville by 9. So yeah. You see, it's a little bit different because remember in football this past year, you had a great margin of victory on the season. It's just you didn't win any games because every game you were losing by like 2 points, and it didn't count your blowouts. So
right. I found the tweet, from Hogs Stats. It says Arkansas's average scoring margin of plus 12.3 points per game this season is its best since outscoring teams by 15.2 points per game in 93-94. So there you go.
Boy, they were whipping ass back then.
Man. Yeah, it's almost like they were like the best team in the country or something like that. I mean, so what I hear is that Arkansas is winning the national championship this year, based on
basically, yeah.
Yep, that's what I heard. Let's see. Heartbroken Hawk says, of course we would lose one of, if not the best position coach hire that was made. I hate life. LMAO. Yeah, that seems reasonable reaction. like
it does stink, man. I get it.
It does. The timing is tough because anytime the pros are taking your guy, the pros don't adhere to your schedule. Just like the Giants taking Tony V in December or whatever it was, that's a tough one. But you live and you learn, and maybe Arkansas will pluck an NFL guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Could happen.
It's funny, like we joked about the Ed Orgeron thing, but that would be something like if they hired him, everybody, who Marion Hobby, who? Like we don't even know who that is. Like if you get somebody to that extent, people would get excited about it. But Hog On says heading down to Arlington tomorrow. Let's get it, boys. Yeah, a lot of Razorback fans are going to be here. Like, in fact, I was talking to the Rev, REV, whatever it's called, the rep. He's been helping me out, Chris, great guy. But he's jokingly said, yeah, we usually call these types of events the Razorback Invitational because the amount of fans that come down is like, that's good to hear.
Of course. Andrew, remind me, I had somebody reach out to me via DM and said, if Andrew's going to be in Arlington, I've got an extra spot for him in a suite if he's interested. And I need to share said information with you.
I can't do that simply because that would mean I would be just telling Hillary to go kick rocks. I am traveling with Hillary, so
send her shopping, man.
Yeah, just say, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then just never come back.
Yeah,
But no, I appreciate the offer, but I think I might pass. Last time I was offered a suite in Arlington, it wound up being a really bad dark path that I went down, so I'm going to probably pass.
Let's say, is this suite paid for? Actually, well, I guess we'll find out. Hopefully, it is.
Or Curtis, are you just making a joke?
No, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
That's a very deep joke. If that's it, it's like Curtis doesn't even say just kidding afterwards. He's like, no, I'm gonna have that. There's gonna be a ton of Razorback fans here. I'm really excited to see the amount of red. At least they're not playing Oklahoma. That always gets confusing when they're doing that. But see, this was the thing is I'm not just because I said there was no super chats does not mean you guys have to send super chats, but we appreciate it either way. But Grant says, Andrew, know a good walk-up song would be Sick Puppy Song, You're Going Down.
So I literally hold on. I tried to mute my mic so I could play the song and listen to it so that I would know what song he was talking about. I do vaguely know this song. Yeah, I could see it for like a closer.
Yeah.
I don't know the song for a closer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also we talked about, not having certain players or players that wear certain numbers. There will be a band where no one can ever play Heat Waves as their song, right? Like that is something they can't do.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless they were going to, if they were going to do it, they should have started doing it like the year after and been like, hey, every year we're going to have a guy with Heat Waves or whatever. By the way, we haven't even talked about this. We were talking about walk-up songs the other day. How did I not mention that Jackson Kershaw was walking out to John Cena's theme song?
Let's go.
It's freaking electric, man.
I like it.
Yeah. It's what I guess it's a matter of what part of the theme, song. Does it just go right into the explosion?
Luckily he's a pitcher, so it's like it's gonna play for 90 seconds or whatever. So he gets like a full on, some John Cena bars in there.
Yeah.
He's got to do it with the glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully, because what was it? intro video that John Cena had, and I won't have it play in the highlights, but if they did like a compilation similar to what John Cena's like the quick cuts and whatnot, and him like saluting, like that'd be kind of cool.
They should like film. They should like get a collection of like Jackson Kersher's like media day footage and just like make their own like little music video for it like that. But y'all want to know a hot take? John Cena's theme song, "The Time Is Now," not even his best theme song that he used. I think Basic Thugonomics is better.
Oh yeah,
Basic Thugonomics, that little dee 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 that smacks.
The real ones know.
Oh man. Let's see. Also, Derek, appreciate Super Chat goes, is beating Auburn by 20 a statement win now? I mean, I'd say so.
Yeah, I think it's still a statement.
Yeah, it is.
The statement would just be we're very good and they're bad, but it's still a statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what that would be pretty much 3 straight games where you've won by 20, like essentially. Like, I mean, you're 20 plus. So yeah. Ryan.
The spread's like 7.5.
Yeah.
Which is
you double the spread.
I guess it makes sense if you think about it, but after seeing how the first game played out, I was kind of like, oh, wow, all right.
Yeah, I was expecting like 5.5 at first, and I'll see. It'll be interesting to see if Bet Saracen, like once we get closer to the game, how much it moves, if any. But yeah, seeing 7.5, I was like, good grief, that's a ton,
dude. I'll never forget seeing 2.5 at one point for that Vanderbilt spread. I think I remember telling you guys that was one of my biggest gambling wins of all time was that Vanderbilt game. Mm-hmm. Had Arkansas lost, I probably would have had to find a different line of work.
Yeah, that would have been tough. Let's see a few more other ones here too. Let's see. Derek just says, I love the intro. Even the guys that work with me in Montana love it. Well, good. Yeah,
there we go.
It's the best intro that's out there. That's for sure. Shout out to our guy Gibb. Hickory Hog just says, defensive line. Are we talking about JSJ, JJ, and Torrey?
I like that. Maybe you are. We're gonna be talking a lot about those 3 here pretty soon. But yeah, everybody's if you're mad this year about Arkansas's defense, we'll return to normal next season where you can be mad about other things. But those 3 dudes can guard. So if they go out there and get themselves an imposing big man, it's gonna be a hard team to score on.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, where is it at here? Let's try and pull it up. Oh, yeah. Someone from Shane says, Curtis, how much do you think we could see of the 3 bigs playing together? Might come in handy if we play Michigan or Illinois in the tournament.
Or Florida in a couple weeks. I really don't think we're going to see that much of it if, like, under the assumption that Arkansas gets progressively more healthy here. If they get back to their, the 8 guys that we've had in the rotation all season, I think the roles might change a little bit, but I think it's still going to be those same dudes and the same combinations for the most part. That worked against Mississippi State for 2 reasons. One, they stink and they can't shoot, so it was fine from a defensive standpoint. 2, they were zoning Arkansas at the time, and so they were able to kind of use Trevin Brazile as a floater out there on the perimeter. Malik Ewan was operating in the high post. They had Pringle kind of flattened out. So that worked. It would be a little bit more clunky in man-to-man, but if they're getting crushed on the boards or like the size is just a huge problem for them against Florida's front court where they start 3 bigs, I would not put it past John Calipari to play those 3 guys together in that game. And to your point, like Michigan is a team that kind of does the same thing. So maybe they've at least got it in the bag of tricks.
Let's see a few more here too, because I know we'll have some other things to dive into as well. But Derek also says, I don't know if the Aggies want full court or try and trap Acuff.
I would agree, man, but I was bullish on Arkansas against Georgia for that exact same reason, and Acuff tucked his tail a little bit in that one. So we'll see. At home, you're probably right, though.
Yeah. Also, Rand says, Ron Slay spitting facts about the Hogs. If fouling is the only way you can stop Acuff Jr., you have no chance in the NCAA tournament. Hogs are winning the SEC tournament this season.
I saw his comments as well, and because I think he was basically, I think that the question though that was framed to him was kind of like, who are some teams that you could see making a run in the NCAA tournament? And he was just like, someone's going to have to figure out this Acuff thing, because you want to talk about teams that have clear paths to victory in a lot of these games or whatever. It's like having a guy that can just absolutely take over a game, and not only does with regularity. And it's like, if you're in a close game in the final 8 minutes with Arkansas and you're going bucket for bucket, you probably don't have a guy that is that easy of a bucket. I mean, unless you have one of those top elite freshmen or whatever. But I think, Ron Slate gave a lot of love, and I like it. I think we always, in the NCAA tournament, we always talk about guard play, especially once Kemba Walker and Shabazz Napier did their thing, it became a very popular thing where it's like whoever's got the best point guard like could win the tournament. And so I think Arkansas is definitely going to have a lot of respect from that regard.
Yeah. Also, Ross says this. He says, Andrew looks as happy to be in Dallas for baseball as I imagine he was to be at horse camp.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not in Dallas for baseball right now. But, yes, I am very happy, and I'll be happier than I was to be in horse camp. I wasn't – as you saw in those pictures, I wasn't the happiest camper of all time.
Literally the happiest camper, yeah. No, you got to call it Arlington, folks, because down here, apparently, if you call it, hey, Hogs are playing in Dallas. No, they're playing in Arlington. Big difference.
I mean, you know, they are different places, and it's not even like a North Little Rock thing. Because North Little Rock, that's not a real thing. People that get mad about that, come on.
Yeah, it's Dogtown down there is North Little Rock. Okay, so we'll get to more of your chats in a bit, but there's a couple of, college basketball is going on, how crazy it is, and all the things are getting tense. You know, we're getting to that time of year. You got some coaches that have their backs against the wall and some teams that are trying to figure it all out. But I got a couple of clips here from coaches. The former almost Razorback head coach, Jerome Tang. He is not happy. He's not, speaking of not being a happy camper, he's not having a good season. Things aren't well. Kansas State students had bags on their heads, and they just got another embarrassing loss. But he didn't really hold back in his press conference last night after another bad loss.
To do this, but this was embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. You know, it is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right. I have no answer, no words. So y'all got two questions. So whoever want to ask two questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability right now. But right now, I'm like pissed, and this is all right. Questions.
So wasn't very happy. They're 1-10 in Big 12 play, by the way. They just lost to Cincinnati at home last night by 30. So tough scenes there, but yeah.
Tough scenes for sure. And I've seen a whole bunch of people doing a thing about like, wow, just rolling his team under the bus, man. Who wants to play for a guy like that? Whatever. I've seen a lot of Jerome Tang clips and press conferences during the stretch they've had where he's been championing his guys, and hey, we're gonna get this right, and I believe in the guys in his locker room. He's been saying all those things. He's been doing that, and then y'all go out at home and have that happen against that team. We've seen that team, that Cincinnati squad. That's shameful to happen to you on your home court. And if you watch, I don't know if y'all saw some of the clips about like the offensive rebounds they were giving up on free throws for like point blank dunks and stuff. They just flat out quit out there. So I would have rolled them under the bus too. So what? Because some people are like, yeah, how many people are going to show up to that 6 a.m. practice? You're going to lose your team. Good. We're 1-10. I don't care. Either I'm getting fired or I'm going to have a whole new team next year anyway. So forget these dudes. I'm not mad about it at all from a Tang standpoint.
Well, y'all remember just 1 week ago, we were having this exact same conversation about Cincinnati's head coach. And we were like, oh, man,
yeah.
He was really apologizing to the fans, and you could tell how much it meant to him. So good for them from that regard, because now they're on the other end where they're forcing this other team to have this existential crisis. And I'm with you, Curtis, where I'm like throwing your players under the bus. It'd be one thing if he were like, you know, if there was a weird decision at the end of the game and he's like, yeah, that's my point guard, Mr. Whatever's fault or whatever. Like that's throwing your guy under the bus. Just being like, my team didn't show up and, you know, I'm really mad and these guys don't deserve it and yada, yada, yada. Like, that's all fine and dandy. My only thing, I guess, is I know losing to Cincinnati by 20 is a huge thing, is like, it's not like this is just a big surprise. They've been trending toward this for a really long time. But I guess this is kind of just his breaking point, because that's my thing, is it's like you've lost your 10th out of your 11 games. It's not like this was a came out of nowhere performance. They've been spitting in your face a lot, it seems. The one Big 12 game they won, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Tang was in the stands with the student section dancing, you know, celebrating and everything. And, you know, they haven't had that since. And also, he's right, it is embarrassing. I'm sure y'all saw on social media, but it started with just like maybe a dozen or so
students with the bags over their heads, and then there was like 200 of them by the end of the game there. That's a brutal look. So I'm kind of glad he said what he said. If you're not going to have pride in what we're doing, I'm going to have pride in it, and you guys can get out. So I'm fine with it.
I am too. And also the other coach, Mick Cronin, I feel like I'm always seeing clips of him. He's very outspoken about things. Usually it's complaining about the Big Ten, but not in this particular case. He just laid it out of the type of players that he's going to have to start looking for and that he hopes to find and start finding here in transfer portals and also some people overseas.
In the Big Ten, buddy. Yeah. Like I've told Yogi, like all these agents are in town. I guess it's the All-Star games here. Yeah. I'm oblivious, more concerned with can I take the Bookster out for a walk today? Hopefully it's not raining. He hates when he doesn't get a walk. But I'm dead serious though. His happiness is, it's way up there on my care list. Find me the biggest, nastiest vodka drinking Eastern European you can. That's what I tell Yogi. He's meeting with all these agents from all over the world are coming in, I guess. Mm-hmm. Just find some guy that used to like wrestle bears in Lithuania or something. The Big Ten is no joke, buddy. Yeah. Everybody's big. Yeah. Everybody's strong. Yeah. I mean, almost. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. I mean,
So yeah, just go and find some people who used to wrestle bears in Lithuania and that just drink a bunch of vodka and are Eastern European. That's all you need.
I've if you watch the movie Semi-Pro, I can find you one of those pretty easily there. That was hilarious, man. He's right though. that's kind of what he needs. If you watch UCLA basketball this year, that's kind of the missing ingredient. That's hilarious though. Take them boosters out for a walk. Mick Cronin and his boosters are out there walking like Sam Pittman and Barry Odom.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's not playing right now, but the literal best basketball player on the planet right now walking today fits that exact description. You know what I mean? Just a guy that's just a big, grew up in a Slovenian gang or whatever, like just that is what Nikola Jokic is. And so, yeah, he's 100% right for this. I love Mick Cronin. I've always loved Mick Cronin going back to his Cincinnati days. Like, he's a great college basketball personality. When he went to UCLA, I remember thinking, reminded me of Brian Kelly, LSU, where I'm like, just not a culture fit. I don't think Mick Cronin should be coaching at UCLA, which is a blue blood program, by the way. UCLA should be recruiting the Jordan Smith Juniors of the world. They should be one of the most talented teams in the country. I think Mick Cronin needs to get back to his like Midwest roots a little bit and just go coach at like some, random, Xavier or something. I guess he won't be Xavier because that's
Cincinnati's going to be open. So
I mean, literally, like I don't know why he couldn't just go back there because I think he's a much better fit for that. Because and by the way, I don't think UCLA is going to be recruiting Eastern European big men anytime soon, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, I just know every fan out there is just going to be like, hey, yeah. That just reminds me anytime someone's like, hey, just go get one of those players next year. Just go get, like this team that you lost to. I forgot what was Samago or whatever his name was at UConn. Just go get one of those. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. But I remember that portal season. Well, why don't they just go get Adama Sanogo? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Sounds great. Mick Cronin had one of those guys last year in Adai Mara, and now he is at Michigan dominating because he couldn't pay him to keep him. So you might want to walk another booster around.
But there you go. We'll get to your chats too. But I saw, Curtis, did you have a graphic that you were wanting to pull up?
Oh yeah. Well, I thought this was cool. I just saw it. I think it was the next round that posted it, but I think did we just mention Ron Slay a few minutes ago?
We did.
But that's interesting, man. It's just they put out the top scorers in the SEC since 2000. You got a handful of them that are playing this year. But like, Darius Acuff at 15th right now, 20.8 points per game. Josh Hubbard and LeBaron Philon are the two guys who are ahead of him at this stage. But I just thought it was interesting. I thought you guys would get a kick out of the throwback nature of some of the names on there. We all remember that Jody Meeks year. If you had told me to name the top 10 scorers in the SEC since 2000, I would not have said Stephon Moody. It would not have registered in my mind, but there he is at number 2. I remember that Cam Thomas year. I'm surprised at the amount of Gamecocks that are on here. Scottie Pippen Jr., that's not a surprise, but no, it's just a bunch of interesting names, I thought.
There's a lot of guys on this list that didn't win a ton of games, if I'm being honest with you. Cam Thomas, kidding. I don't think he won a ton of games over there. I don't know some of these Gamecock guys. Sindarius Thornwell, I know did win a lot of games, but like Scottie Pippen, I don't know if he ever played in an NCAA tournament game.
I mean, Mason Jones didn't. I mean, maybe
Mason Jones didn't win a ton of games. Like there's Josh Hubbard didn't win a ton of games. Like there's a lot of names on this list of dudes that did not win.
Shout out to Antonio Reeves for being on that list. We forget how good he was that last season that Cal was at Kentucky, because it was all about, Rob and Reed and why the heck is DJ playing, and it was Antonio Reeves that was killing everybody out there.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah, some names of these are surprising, but it makes me wonder if a lot of these are on bad teams just because it's like, hey, you have that one good player, so they just get to do whatever. Like they get to shoot all the shots, they get to control it all and everything. So, but I do remember Jody Meeks for a long time.
Oh yeah,
he had the record in Bud Walton Arena for most points scored, as he went for 45 against John Pelfrey's Razorbacks. Yeah, man, it's quite interesting. I felt like if there was a team that, if you asked me, hey, what team would have the most in the top 20, I would have said Tennessee, because I felt like Tennessee always had these random players that were just, going for over 20 plus. I would not have guessed that Kevin Punter was going to be the one that was at top of like Chris Lofton and Dalton Connect. But
right, I forgot about him.
Not on. Oh, he is. I see him now. I was about to say, I was like, dude, how are there 4 Tennessee guys and not Chris Lofton? Because I remember Chris Lofton would have been one of those guys. You talk about guys who, at the top of your head, you're like, who are the best SEC scorers? I thought he might be number 1.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
That's what it felt like. No, that is pretty fascinating. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so a few more chats before we roll out of here for the day. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Cats by 21's here apparently says Pope couldn't recruit his dog to the food bowl. All right,
this is true.
Certainly true in the high school ranks, man. They're struggling over there. Can't relate.
Yeah, we wouldn't know what that's like. We're changing lives and helping families out over here at Arkansas for sure. Let's see. Finch says, so are we going to talk about LSU's ban calling the Hogs, or did that already happen? I meant to pull that video.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about it. And that's when you know things are bad.
What's worse? Is it student section all with bags on the heads, or the band doing the opponent's cheer?
The band, to me, because like students, I mean, they get irrationally angry about stuff anyways, but the band is like, dude, your scholarship just to play music. Like you don't even have to watch the game. Who cares? Yeah. But if you start
on the head is almost like a hardcore fan move, I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree.
Didn't
somebody have a bag on their head on the not real protest for Ryan Silverfield's hiring?
They did.
Maybe. But Arkansas fans I know put bags on their heads during the Chad Morris era. At least a couple. It might not have been a huge group, but that's like a classic. I love my team and I'm here to support them, but like kind of letting that I'm mad thing. When you're doing opponents' cheers, that's rough sledding.
Yeah, because when you have bags on your heads, that's something that you're like, it becomes a thing to where suddenly, even if there was just like 5 people, the coach is going to get asked about in the press conference type of thing. Like it draws attention to that fact. Like if they're there, no one cares, but it's like, hey, those guys had bags on their head, coach. What do you make of that? It's like, kind of makes it where it has attention drawn to it.
I'm sure the band instructor doesn't care, but I think you should really be pissed about this. Of like, your job as the band is to spirit for your own squad and all that. Like that's like actually disrespectful.
No, I agree. I would,
as much as I like it as a Hog fan that they did it. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
I mean, imagine if the Razorback band like started, doing Roll Tide or something. I'd be like, all of y'all need to go. Like, need to go now. Like, I'd be pissed. I would be. See, Seth says, I have meetings today, so can't watch live. Wanted to pop in the chat and say hi to all the regulars, and thanks for the Inside Arkansas group for all the great content.
Appreciate that.
We'll let it slide, Seth.
Yeah. And Butcher Boy also says, guys, the world may suck right now, but I can always count on Inside Arkansas to bring some good laughs and good vibes. Appreciate all the work y'all put in for us fans. You're welcome.
There we go. Appreciate that.
The world only sucks as much as you make it. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Nep says, do we know what time JSJ commits tomorrow? Wasn't sure if he was doing a live commit or what.
I don't know if he's doing a live commit or not. He's doing it before his game. So, like, there's not a specific time on that. I would imagine it's going to be, like, early evening at some point there. Before his game, could that mean they in starting lineups, it's like, and future Razorback, Jordan Smith Jr. Maybe. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a unique way to go about it. Will it be, like, in the locker room before he goes out for warm-ups and he just puts on IG, committed. Who knows what that's going to look like. But it's going to be later in the day unless something changes.
Yep. Let's see. Mr. Snow says, missed Ellis's show yesterday. Between that, I assume he meant Pot at the Palace, and Locked On. I've been listening to Inside Arkansas for 6 hours straight. Going to have a mush brain into today. Yeah.
Stay busy.
Yeah. Got to be
like an iPad baby.
Yeah. Make sure your AirPods are charged. Finch just says, John straight up looking like a legit media guy with the polo on. Hey, read between the lines, Finch. Read between the lines, my man. Let's see. Also, Justin says, I am so glad that Cal kept Ronnie Brewer. He's always rallying the guys and calming them down when needed. I love Ronnie and his dad. Great guys. For sure.
Brew's good people. Brew's a great hype man. The thing about Brew that I appreciate on the bench is that he has a good feel for moments. I mean, maybe that comes with the NBA career, like just having a little bit of poise and everything. But when it's getting tumultuous, he seems to be the guy that's calming everybody down. You can kind of sense the moment sometimes where it's like, all right, we got to rally the troops here. And it's him who's up, clapping and getting everybody going a little bit. He just always seems to have a really good grasp for that. But between Brew and Chin Coleman, Arkansas has got some epic type of hype men on that coaching staff. Yeah. Chin Coleman's very underrated for his ability to get the fellas going.
Sometimes we overrate the aspect of having someone on your staff who's from the state of Arkansas, who has been to the University of Arkansas, who knows what it's like. But I think Brewer has to help a lot from that regard of Cal, obviously, I'm sure, brings in Nolan Richardson. They talk about that kind of stuff. But having someone that your players can relate to that's actually been literally in their shoes, worn the same jersey, it may just be a small thing, but I do think it matters to have someone like that they respect, who played in the NBA, did a lot of the things that they want to do. I think it definitely helps from that regard too.
And I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but I know when he was on Musa's staff, obviously, and we were in the Bahamas at practice, and he was out there practicing with those guys basically, and he screened Mekhi Mitchell the day before a game, so it was almost like a walkthrough, and he knocked him on his rear end. And I was like, oh, wow, Bruce still got it, man. So when you get out there and mix it up with him too, that's a major sign of respect.
Also, too, I know this is kind of random, but I just see that Trinidad Chambliss is taking the stand in a court case in a lawsuit against the NCAA, and it's just such a joke. I seen the video of this. It looks like I'm watching the O.J. Simpson trial, and he got people up there, and then his attorney, first question he asked him is hey, what'd you think about the final play of the Fiesta Bowl? And he goes, I think it was pass interference. I'm like, what's going on here, man? What a joke that is. But either way,
hey, go do the job, Trinidad. Why don't you go do that?
Yeah, it's time. It's time for you to join the workforce. Hey, Luke Gig'em Rise says, if we don't beat Vandy, I may never see you gentlemen again.
So, okay, I started this hoping to bring it up so we could have a nice little moment with Luke and we could kind of be like, hey, we still got you, buddy. And I was going to offer him a chance to walk back because a week ago he was victory lapping over them losing to Alabama. And we thought that was interesting. And we were like, hey, that's maybe not the road you want to go down. So I want to give him that opportunity to walk it back. But then I see him spewing off all this nonsense in the chat about, y'all went 8-10 last year. And he said something about how Arkansas made the tournament due to Cal privilege, which Arkansas, I know they went 8-10. If you watched SEC basketball last year, there were 6-12 teams that made the tournament. 8-10 in the SEC last year, a little bit different. And obviously Arkansas went to the Sweet 16. So it's clearly they vindicated their tournament candidacy. Luke, you don't have to go down this path of just spewing nonsense. We can have some fun. We can do whatever. But from the time that I started that chat to the time it's been brought up, I have now soured on you again.
Yeah. And there's a difference in starting 0-5 in league play and then rallying to get to that point and going to a Sweet 16 versus getting off to, what were they, a 7-1 start and then cratering down the stretch and losing in the first round if you make it in, which is, they should be fine, but you're already hearing those conversations after they took a couple losses, just like we're hearing that with Auburn now. And the reason why is because this league ain't what it was last year. And so, those shorter records aren't always going to get it done. I think they're going to be okay, but
I just can't get over saying, how about them Aggies coming off of a 3-point loss? And listen, Bama's a good team. Hell, if Arkansas loses by 3 in Tuscaloosa, I'm not going to be mad about them. But we would not come to the show the next day and say, how about them Hogs? That's crazy behavior. We got to at least admit that, right?
I mean, I would think so, but here's my thing is anytime somebody says, how about that team that they're rooting for, they better be in sarcasm if they didn't win the game. I'm just saying that. Guys, I don't know if this photo is going to show up very well. I'm going to be honest, but I just saw KSR put this out there. They said that, no, this is not John Calipari eating with Rick Pitino, even though it certainly looks like it. I don't know if you saw this. It's hard to see, but that was apparently a picture that
in the world.
This
Like,
looks like altered footage a little bit, but it also looks old.
Yeah. I don't
Who
know.
is
Like,
that man?
I don't know. I need to pull it up on their. It's on their website that I just saw the link, and then they had the picture with the link. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like that's ridiculous. Yeah, I gotta check it out and see if I can find out who it is. But either way, it says one of Patino's tweet is going viral today because it included a picture with Patino with a group of friends at a restaurant in New York City, which one of them would be like one of Cal's like doppelgangers. So. Yeah, I didn't know if the reason I'm bringing that up is because I didn't know if you guys saw that. But here, hold on a second. I'm going to bring up a more quality picture. Let's see.
Kind of makes me uncomfortable looking at that.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
It looks like heads that were placed on bodies that are not their bodies. Like if I'm just being, and I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what it definitely looks like to me.
Skinwalkers.
Yeah, sorry. Let me pull this one up and see so that way we get a better shot of it. I mean, that's a real person.
That is not John Calipari at all. Maybe that's Rick Pitino, but I can confirm without a shadow of a doubt that is not John Calipari sitting in that photo.
Have you guys seen those? And it's probably stuck on my algorithm a little bit because I've got a newborn, but there's like these things where you can take a picture of your baby, submit it into this deal, and it'll show their like what they're going to look like moving forward and aging. Like it's almost like if you took Brad and you knew what John looked like as and then as a baby, and you put that in there, this would be 55-year-old Brad Calipari or something.
Man.
Anyway,
yeah, I just had to bring that up because it was very scary and uncomfortable and whatnot. So, and final one before we get out of here, Curtis, will the injury report be out tomorrow night?
Yeah, 7:10. It's kind of a very random time, but yeah, that'll be out tomorrow night. And this is all strategic, by the way. Like Jordan Smith Jr. will commit to Arkansas, and then while we're all celebrating that, we'll find out that Knox, DJ, and Ewan are all out for the Auburn game, and nobody will care until they wake up Saturday morning and realize that the Hogs are in trouble. Just kidding. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say we're calling our shots for questionables or doubtfuls. We'll see for those guys, but yeah,
I hope Ewan's not even on there. But
yeah,
yeah,
dude, it's just some stitches. Get over it. You don't need your head to play basketball.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
Now, once again, I find myself thoughted out.
I like that. Always like when Curtis just thought it out. Yeah, tune in at 3 p.m. If you want to find out Arkansas's exact record in baseball this year, check out the Bombastic at 3 p.m. if you want to know who's leading the team in several categories. Some bold predictions in there also, so check that out and continue to tap in what we got going on at Inside Arkansas, man. Every day we got great content. It's going to be another big weekend, which is not a Woo Pig weekend because it's a Woo Pig week. And we're just in the middle of Woo Pig week right now. So appreciate everybody for tuning in as always, and we'll see you later.
That's right. Yeah, we got all of it going on. So be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas. Going to have, of course, Bombastic later today. Going to have Pot the Palace each and every day. Going to have Dave Van Horn get to hear what he had to say from some players and some practice footage from today as well later this evening. So be sure to subscribe. Inside Arkansas on YouTube. Follow us on social media at Inside Arkansas. Check out our audio podcast wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pot at the Palace, the Bombastic Podcast, or Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast. And that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, and intern Cameron, I am John Neighbor. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.